What's up, guys? Welcome back to another F1 2019 Career Mode episode. Today, the summer break has finally ended in the game, and we are now going to go on to the next round of the Career Mode at Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps. This is a good power circuit, so it's a good news that we have our fuel consumption upgrade that was supposed to go on the car in Hungary, now on the car. It was always going to be guaranteed to come in at this race after it fell in Hungary, but it'll be good because it Spa's a power circuit and we can put the engine rich mix a lot more. Qualifying, gonna rain near the end. Maybe in the Q2, it's kind of hard to tell where it's gonna start raining on the map here, but fortunately it's going to be a dry race, which is going to be good news for us. As you can see, this time I actually have the... As Jeff interrupts me, but you saw that I had all the correct engine components in the car. The ICE was a bit worn, so we might be slightly down on power here. But as we go to the end of Q1 here, or the first lap in Q1 rather, you'll see that it's not going to hamper me too much. I am pretty quick around here. P1, but it's going to be quickly sniped by Lewis Hamilton, who goes just faster than me. But still P2, that's pretty safe for now. We're going to jump back to the garage here. I can't think of the words. P3, I'm pretty safe. I'm going to actually swap over my internal combustion engine to the new spec and my turbocharger, I believe, to the new spec here. No, not the turbocharger, just the ICE. We end up in P3 at the end of FP1, but the issue here,
something to read today. There's an issue in the fuel system. We don't think it's anything terminal, but it is going to take some time to investigate and repair.
As you heard, there is an issue in the fuel system, not just the ICE replacement, so that's going to cost us an additional 7 minutes of time. And then that 7 minutes that it cost us, it's going to start raining harder, and it's going to be too wet now to go onto the intermediate tires, so we're going to have to go on the full wet. So you can see Lewis Hamilton set his fastest time on the intermediates, but unfortunately we're going to have to do what we can here on the wets. As you can see, we are going way slower than Lewis. He went on 157, we go 204, and we finished behind Kvyat, but we are going to try to do one more lap here to try to potentially get into the top 10. You can see we're nearly a second up on our previous best time, but it's not going to be enough. Lewis is nearly 7 seconds up, so just going 1 second faster is not going to help too much. You'll see that we do beat Kvyat, so we are the fastest driver on the full wet tires, but that's not saying much because there's only the two of us. So unfortunately, we are getting eliminated here in Q2 along with our teammate Roman Grosjean, who did get a good run in but was too slow on the intermediate tires, so he's out. So both the Haas guys out in Q2 for the first time in quite a while, I think. It's hard to say because I think I got eliminated in Q1 at one point, so I don't know if Grosjean made it to Q2 or not, but because of our starting position, P14, we are going to make some take some penalties here. I know at the beginning of the series I said I wouldn't just replace the engine parts all willy-nilly, but at the end of the season here we are going to take another engine just to have it, because all the second components are getting worn, all the first ones are completely burned out. I'm definitely not going to make it to the end of the season with all the default parts, so might as well just take all the penalties here at once, get a brand new fresh engine, and we'll be safe for the rest of the season.
In the 48 races held at Spa between 1950 and 2015, the race winner has only started from pole position on 16 occasions. Qualifying yesterday may have set the order for today, but expect the unexpected here at the Belgian Grand Prix. As the saying goes, of course, anything can happen. And you know what? It usually does. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track is a great one for fans of pure speed. The average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles an hour. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Bird. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Bottas, Devon Butler and Perez, Weber, Norris, Raikkonen and Max Verstappen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Grosjean, Kvyat, Lance Stroll and Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, Hülkenberg, George Russell and Robert Kubica, Gasly and Bird. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, don't worry about making places into one, it's far too tight. Concentrate on a clean exit so you get good momentum down the Kemmel Straight.
So here we are, last on the grid. It's going to be a simple one-stop, soft to medium tires. You can see the personalized tire wear is a lot better than the projected, so thankfully we will be able to get into the soft medium strategy without really being concerned too much about the tire wear. With the fuel consumption upgrade now on our car, we will be able to burn a lot of fuel and just put the car in rich mix a lot more. So fortunately, we do have the best engine on the grid, which will make overtaking down the Kemmel Straight a lot easier than if we had like a Renault engine or something. Normally this is where I'd put us at the 5 red lights, but something strange happened here on the formation lap here. If you can see the Alfa Romeo between the two Renaults on the mini-map here, I think he just forgot that we were on the formation lap and he just keeps driving through, and you can see him just go down. He's all alone, and he was with us fine during the normal formation lap, but now he's just trudging along by himself. And I wonder if I think that's Antonio Giovinazzi, but I think he totally forgot that he had the stop on his grid spot. So just gonna show you guys 5 times speed. We had to wait here on the grid until the game decided that it was gonna wait too long, and it just decided to cut to everybody back on the grid here. As you'll see in just a second, it's saving game. It's going to cut back. Giovinazzi is going to be back in his grid spot, and we are going to finally get the race underway. 5 red lights. Giovinazzi kind of cheating there with an extra formation lap. Maybe he doesn't get his tires warmed up enough, but we're just going to take it nice and easy here, starting in last. As I say that, we kind of drive into the back of Gasly because they brake so early, but luckily we get no damage. Didn't make any positions up in the turn 1, but fortunately we didn't lose any either, so that's good news. It's quite a mess going up Radion here. Kubica and Giovinazzi are both slow because they went side by side, slowing down Kvyat too, and we're gonna potentially get all 3 of them in one move here. We're side by side with Giovinazzi with his extremely warm tires, while the rest of us are sitting on cold tires. Side by side, he's still next to us. He does get by us again, so fortunately we only got 2 positions, but still a good start. We break our front wing thanks to me misjudging my braking point and locking up just a tad bit. But fortunately, it's not. I don't think the front wing damage affected us too much. All the right-handers are gonna feel extremely bad now as we run wide at the left-hander. Not a right-hander, but this right-hander up here is one of 3 right-handers that felt really bad with the broken front wing. Luckily, with the setup, I only had a 1 front wing instead of like anything higher. If I think I was used to using anything higher than a 1, as we run wide here, almost colliding with the wall thanks to the understeer. But as I was saying, if we were using any like higher front wing than 1, I think it would have really hampered us, but since we were basically had almost no downforce on the front wing anyway, I'm actually not too bad in thanks to the engine helping us along down the straights, kind of making up the time I lose in the corners. But we're still P18 here. Hopefully we can make a move on Giovinazzi down the Kimmel Straight. Or into Lasource as we come back from a dive bomb from way back, but they were just going way slow into the corner. I didn't want to run into the back of them and break my other half of the front wing. So that's us up in the P17 here. Next up is the Williams. They have a Mercedes engine, so they're going to be kind of tough to overtake in a straight line. No DRS quite yet. We have the engine going as hard as it can. We're going to pull alongside him. Russell's going defensive, and we just kind of send it a bit deep into the corner, and unfortunately we have to let Russell go. And that right-hander is the second right-hander that really was bugging me with the broken front wing. As you can see, we fall all the way down the last place again thanks to that poor understeer, and all the hard work we did in the first lap and a half is now undone, and we have to overtake everybody again. But as we all know, the Williams downforce and chassis is still pretty bad, so Kubica doesn't get a great run, and we will dive up the inside and hopefully challenge them. We're still side by side. Fortunately, left-handers are way better than my right-handers, so we were able to go around the outside of the second part of the second turn. And as we cut ahead here, DRS is enabled. Pierre Gasly and George Russell are going side by side now, hopefully slowing each other down just enough so I can catch up. We did make massive gains in the braking zone of Lasource, and hopefully we will be able to catch up to them quite a bit. My engine is starting to overheat a bit as we are right in the back of George Russell, and we get DRS on both of them. Gasly gets DRS too, but I think our straight line speed is way faster than the Toro Rosso, and we're going to go around the outside of him. Gasly having a little bit of a look up the inside after the braking zone and turn in, but fortunately we managed to keep P17. And next up on our overtaking list is Daniel Ricciardo. Like I was saying before, the Renault engine isn't the greatest in the straight line speed still. I'm sure they've been working on the engine, but right now our Ferrari engine is the best in class with the fuel consumption upgrade. We're going to go around the outside of Ricciardo at Blanchimont and get ourselves up in the P16. Next up is Giovinazzi and Hülkenberg, who are battling right now. Like I said before, the front wing wasn't damaging us too much, and I'm setting personal bests like every lap as the fuel goes down, thanks to the slipstream too. But you can see Giovinazzi and Hülkenberg going side by side as they approach the bus stop chicane. Pierre Gasly is right on my gearbox, and he's going to try to go around the outside here. He actually gets it done, but I am going to have another chance to come back at him with DRS. I think we managed to just tap his back tires just a tiny bit, but no damage there, fortunately. Like I said before, Pierre Gasly is going to be a prime overtake here if we can get by him with the DRS. I'm a lot faster up a Rouge and Radion than the AIR. As you can see, I have to go wide not to like fly into the back of Gasly. The dirty air and the broken front wing definitely wasn't helping, as we did get a track warning, but fortunately that's us back up in the P16. Another big lockup going into the right-hander. And I'm still trying to get used to the heavy fuel with the broken front wing. It's not quite playing off into my favor quite yet. Another big lockup on the front right. We're going to move ahead now to lap 6. And you can see that Giovinazzi and Hülkenberg are still fighting away as we are trying to close up. We kind of left Gasly a bit behind us after we overtook him for the second time. But Giovinazzi's going to make a move on Hülkenberg here. We're going to have to sit behind. We close up quite a bit. Giovinazzi's trying to make it work around the inside, but that turns to the outside, and Hülkenberg's going to squeeze him out for P14. And fortunately for us, they do not battle on the next lap here, which means we'll be able to overtake them down the straight. So just giving ourselves a little bit of room so we don't collide into the back of them going up a Rouge here. But as you can see, I am closing up massively in Giovinazzi. We are going to get by him before the DRS straight, and then Nico Hulkenberg here is not going to have DRS, so he's just going to be easy pickings as we move up in the P14. You can see our teammate is up next to Roman Grosjean, starting on the medium tires, so we must be doing a medium to soft counter strategy to see if that would work out. Maybe he's getting caught up in traffic and then he could get in some clean air and then really burn people with soft tires later. But we'll have to see how that turns out later in the race. I think most other people, almost every other person, is doing a soft to medium strategy here. We are closing up on Norris and Grosjean, and as you heard Jeff say, we are pitting this lap 9. So we are going most of the race distance on the medium tires here, and Grosjean is not looking too good on his overtake attempt. Norris is actually going to go around Kvyat, and Grosjean's also going to try to make it 3 wide as they both overtake Kvyat, and Grosjean somehow comes out on top, and he's up into points positions. I believe that's P10 he's in. And now cutting to the end of the lap, we are going to come in with our pit stop here like a bunch of other cars. Grosjean stays out since he's on the medium, so he's going to run longer than everybody on the softs. Barely making the pit stop speed limit there with the big lockup, but we do make it. So no penalty for us. I'm going to go on to the mediums like we previously said, and we'll see where we come out. We do have to replace the front wing with the damage. We are going to lose the position here. I think we lost one to Kvyat. I think we got by him. I'm not sure. Or Gasly, rather. Kvyat was up farther. So we are on P19 right now. All the way down to second last, ahead of Russell. But other people have yet to pit yet, like Roman Grosjean. We are coming to the end of the next lap. You can see a bunch of people in the pits, like Ricardo, and I think that's Williams of Kubica, and the Alfa Romeo of Giovinazzi. He's going to come out right behind us. Fortunately, we don't get caught behind him, and that means we have to I think we just lost the 2 positions to Hulkenberg and Gasly here, which means we are going to have to re-overtake them. But fortunately this time there is no losing time in the pits, so hopefully if we overtake them this time we will manage to stay in front. The car felt way better around right-handers with the fully healed front wing, fully new. Hulkenberg is kind of had to force me to back off by not really going defensive there. But we're going to go up to the inside at the bus stop. It's not going to work out quite too much, but he runs a bit too shallow on the second part of the chicane. That's us up in the P15. Gasly's up next. You saw that Grosjean pit it quite early to pit for the mediums, and once we get by Gasly, you'll see why he pit so early, and you'll definitely know why this is a bad thing. He pits so early. He definitely can't run. Oh, I mean, he could have run 10 laps on the softs. It's not impossible, especially with low fuel. But as you'll see in the top left there, the Haas team pitted him on the hard tires for some reason, despite the softs definitely being able to go 9 or 10 laps, especially since he's not starting the race on them, and those are probably fresh tires. If he would have had fresh sets of soft tires available. So I don't know what the team was thinking. He's just going to go backwards in this race now. Everybody around him is going to be so much faster. You'll see that right now he's getting pulled along in the slipstream of Daniel Kvyat, who he's going to try to make a move on, but the softer tires of Kvyat is just going to allow him to get better traction around the outside, and now Grosjean is going to be slim pickings for us as we set the fastest lap of the race. Grosjean actually making a move on Kvyat there. It's going to leave both of them to be slow, as we're going to try to we're going to overtake Kvyat before Rouge here. And have to take Radion really shallow, and we almost lost it. Almost went flying into the barrier. That would have been a race over, but now Grosjean's really easy to pick off with DRS. He overtook Kvyat, Kvyat before the DRS detection point, and now that's us up in the P12. We are 2 positions away from points positions. I can't think. Norris and Stroll are going side by side. As they approach No Name, Norris is going to squeeze out Stroll and take P10, but Stroll actually comes back at him, and they're going to try to go side by side. Norris has an issue. He slowed majorly down, and we almost climbed into the back of them. I swear when I was driving this race, Jeff told me that Norris had an issue before I overtook him, but I guess he just said caution. That's Norris out of the session, and us up at free position thanks to it. And the safety car is coming out too because of Norris. This is going to do wonders for me. The whole pack is going to be extremely bunched up now, and hopefully we can make some easy overtakes with our straight line advantage compared to the rest of the cars. But here comes a restart. I'm not the greatest out of the bus stop. I was trying to get the power down a little early, and it caused me to lose the back end, but we are going to close back up into the source here. Stroll and the rest of the cars in front are getting the slipstream as well. There's no DRS after a safety car restart, not till third lap after. So we have to do this on prime engine power and slipstream, no DRS. We're going to try to go around the outside of Lance Stroll here. We're halfway alongside him. We can't really make the move, so we kind of just have to back out of it. Lance is going really slow because he has to take it shallow, and he pushes us off the circuit. We collide with our teammate Grosjean. Luckily there's no damage on the front wing, but because of Perez trying to swipe us off there, we managed to lose 3 more positions, or I think it was 4 positions actually, and now we are stuck having to overtake Gasly, Hülkenberg, and Grosjean once again. I don't think Grosjean's going to be so happy with me having to overtake him in every single one of the last like 5 races. I don't remember if it was 5 or not, but he gets overtaken by Hülkenberg. Grosjean is going to get overtaken by me once again. Probably not doing too good for his stock in the driver market, but that's a double overtake for us, Grosjean and Kvyat. Hülkenberg gets out pretty cleanly, and we're going to get DRS off him. It's F1 2019 Slipstream Fest, so unless you can break the toe behind you, all the cars are just going to be stuck dragging each other along. But Hülkenberg couldn't really get that gap out in front of me before the DRS detection point, so we aren't going to get DRS. I don't know what happened there, but we don't have DRS, so we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Hülkenberg's still on the inside of us, and we do manage to get the move done. I think I said it was Perez that knocked me off before it was Stroll, but if I just backed off, I would have eventually got the position thanks to Stroll's issue here. He's going majorly slow, but he is not making this easy to overtake him. There's only 4 laps left in the race after this one, and I don't think Stroll's going to try to give up the position that easily. As you can see, I was trying to go up the inside, but it didn't really work. I brake, and Stroll's just going so slow, I just had nowhere to go. I locked up the tires, and we brake our left side of our front wing again. Luckily for me, I have practice, so shouldn't be too bad this time, but you know how disappointing it was to be like, ah, yes, free front wing, full front wing, no damage, and then just to collide in the back of Stroll again. I showed Stroll what I thought of him by just kind of squeezing him to the inside of Blanchimont, not giving him any space. That makes him lose a few positions to Kvyat and Hülkenberg, so it serves him right. But Kvyat was, no, not Kvyat, sorry. It was just Hülkenberg that was overtaking me, so it makes him lose 1 position. I think Grosjean may have got by him too. No, he didn't. But he still lost one extra position. So it serves him right for defending as hard as he did. Especially when he had no speed. We're going to go side by side through a Rouge. We actually touched Hulkenberg, I guess. I didn't feel it on the steering wheel. There was no noise I heard. But we do get the DRS on Hulkenberg, thanks to me taking the source a bit wide on purpose. And we are up into P11. We have to get one more position to actually get some points here on lap 20 of 22 here. You can see Hulkenberg is actually sticking with me pretty good. He's only 3/10 behind. The next car up is Verstappen, stuck behind the other Toro Rosso of Kvyat. And Kvyat's actually like right behind the other Red Bull of Albon. As we kind of go wide thanks to a lockup, Hulkenberg is going to try to overtake me around the outside of No Name. And we are just going to turn the engine up here and hopefully get the position back, which we do. Unfortunately, this battle's not for any points right now, unless another car in front of us is going to DNF or spin out, or something has to happen, or else we aren't getting any points. We're cutting to lap 21 here. You can see Hulkenberg right on us. This is probably one of his best chances to overtake me before the end of the race here. He has this back straight, the Camel straight, and this back straight again on the final lap to get the move done. I lock up, go a bit deep, but fortunately I'm able to just squeeze Kvyat out, or not Kvyat, Hulkenberg out, keep the position. We are on the final lap now, saving ERS as much as I can. This is going to be the big one, the final DRS straight to Hulkenberg to overtake me, and hopefully we can just manage to keep the position. It looks like there's no other incidents going to be up ahead, so unfortunately we aren't going to be able to make any points this race. You can see Hulkenberg was pretty far back, so he couldn't really overtake me. This is going to be his last chance to do it. He has to make a move in the bus stop here. Sebastian Vettel wins the race. Hulkenberg just a bit far back to make a move, and that's going to be us finishing in P11. No points, unfortunately, but a good recovery drive from back in the grid.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Bird. They pushed and pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So, driver of the day, that has to count for something. Unfortunately, that doesn't count in the driver's standings or the constructor's standings, as we come away with 0 points in P11. Unfortunately, Roman Grosjean, with his weird medium to hard strategy, don't know why Haas decided to do that. I think we gotta get a new strategist for Roman Grosjean here. He falls away all the way down to P16 from P11 and also comes away with 0 points. So that's not going to do us any favors. Lucas Weber and Sergio Perez both get good points finishes, and that means they're going to catch up to us just a little bit in the driver standings. We are only 9 points ahead of Sergio Perez now, and Lucas Weber's never too far behind to catch up. Grosjean's still stuck in P11, but it's a really close race for P11, so he could fall at any instance if he doesn't get his act together. In the drivers, we keep P4, but as I said, with Lucas Weber and Sergio Perez's good results, their teams are now clawing just a bit closer in the the constructor standings, so we have to keep on the edge of our chair for that.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? Great. Well, that's everything.
It was a slightly disappointing weekend in general, though, with the back of the grid start and only managing to get to P11, no points. We are beating Sir Roman Grosjean in the rivalry, but we are still falling behind Sergio Perez thanks to him beating us in the race. As we just skip through all that real quick, you can see that we have 1,300 points to spend on the R&D chart. Fortunately, we don't have any. We do have the one major upgrade coming in Singapore in 2 weeks' time for the chassis component, and I decided to use the 1,300 to get a front downforce upgrade, I believe, on the downforce section of the chart. At this point, there's only the two majors there, so I figured we might as well get the major out of the way up in front, so that way we can finally go into some minors and keep going on the downforce chart, because we are going to get some more minors on the chassis department, and we already have some minors available on the engine component, so we should probably balance that out. But anyway, it was an exciting race. This multiple incidents, not a clean race, I gotta say. But despite that, I feel like we got a good result despite the incidents. Just disappointing overall, though. So if you guys want to see how the season ends, the second half of the season, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. And I'll see you guys next time.